You're listening to The Angry Designer, where we cut through the industry bull to help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive. Welcome back to part 2 of our conversation with the one and only Miss Kristy Campbell. So in case that this is the first time you've actually seen the show, I'd recommend you pause, go back to the episode 1 prior to this and hear all the lead up conversation, because you're going to be missing out on some really good juicy stuff. We talked about her agency. We talked about her rise from freelance to what she has now, struggles with employees, and they're not too much. I mean, she's doing pretty good right now. And of course, this newfound fame that she's got, she's now at Adobe Max. And that's next week. That's coming. But anyway, needless to say, you got to check out that episode. And as for this episode, we get into that much more stuff. We talk about Adobe. We talk about more about her abilities and the world. And of course, we have fun with our rapid fire questions. So please grab yourself a drink, whether it's something harsh or just something chilled. Sit back and enjoy part 2 of this awesome conversation with the one and only Kristy Campbell. You don't take it seriously, because you do, but there is something more transient about being a freelancer. You can pick up, you could go and probably stay in Europe for another 3 weeks and, work during the day at Tomorrowland. And that would be a cool thing, right? Like, whereas an agency owner, it's the responsibilities are a lot more. Yeah. You're often first one in, you're often last one out, but there's something rewarding about that as well.
Completely.
So it's I don't think I was never a freelancer. You were.
I was, yeah.
Cool.
I just went straight for agency. I worked at a couple shops and I jumped into agency because that's always what I wanted. And, so for me, there was no other route. But, you had some experiences with freelance, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. It's funny because that story that you told at the beginning was I did the exact same thing. I told my boss at the job that I was working at, I was like, dude, I'm leaving. I will take you on. I could work for 3 days here and I could do my freelance career. But he just he shot me down hard.
No.
So you were good. I was just going to say, when you were telling that story, I was like, oh, damn, that would have been awesome. But
God, that's totally
mine went
happened.
the exact opposite way.
Oh, no. And I'm always like, you never know what they're going to say. They could just say no, which is when they do say no, it does suck. So it's like, it's a hard one.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, because you're thinking, it's like, it would be exactly like you were saying. It's so easy because I'm already in. You don't have to look for anybody. It's a perfect kind of match. So, but he didn't go.
He didn't take it.
No. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's like, so again, good on you.
Yeah,
I know. Now I'm like, maybe it is quite rare. That's why I always say, these people were so good to me, and they were. Yeah. I'm like, shit. I know this is not easy to come by.
Yeah.
No, you still made the right move. You definitely did, especially seeing the traction you got going for sure. So with this being said, business management, blah 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 blah. There's this really cool new thing that I'm not sure you heard about called AI, and
What's AI?
Artificial ideas or insemination.
Don't worry about it.
I've never seen it. Never
heard of it. Yeah. It's just a fad.
Yeah. It's just a fad. Just like the internet.
Just like the internet, it won't last long.
Yes, it'll go away.
So as a business owner, we'll get to the AI and design, of course, but AI and business, you for or you against?
Ooh, I'm for AI. I guess to a point, you don't want it to completely take over what you do. But not gonna lie, as someone who, even me and my team, I'll put our hands up and say we are creative designers. We are visual people. We're not necessarily the best wordsmiths in the world. We aren't trained in how to, be grammatically. That's just a sentence that I shouldn't have put together.
Sometimes the real world.
We're not good with words.
Yeah,
as you can see.
Just make it up. Make this shit up.
Yeah. So for brand proposals, we write all our strategic notes and our note, blah, 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 whatever. And then we go through and put it in ChatGPT for a little refresh. And we might not take it all. We'll just take certain points. We're like, that sounds better than what we've written. We've got the ideas there. It's just actually freshening it up, making sure it makes sense. The grammar and spelling is all correct. So in that sense, I love it. So all for it. And even in design, definitely for it. I think I was having a call with someone and they said they were around when Photoshop was like the birth of Photoshop, I mean, there's lots of people who are around at that point, but they remember it being this big, scary thing. People were like, oh my God, how are we ever going to know if a photo is real and if it's not real? But when you look back, it's like Photoshop's just really enhanced everything we can do. People aren't bothered, people haven't really, yes, there's been like things, oh, she's not that skinny and, she doesn't look like that. That is what is detrimental, I guess. But in a big scheme of things, it's been really powerful. And I think AI is going to do the same thing. It's not going to, there'll be some issues for sure, but it's not going to completely ruin our careers saying we'll never, hopefully, maybe. I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to completely take over.
Yeah, no, and I mean, it will for some industries. I don't think we have to worry. And I mean, I don't know. Have you been playing with, the new Photoshop beta and Illustrator beta?
So much, yeah. And I love it. Like, it's
I know,
incredible. And if you start to understand what you can use it for, you're like, wow. Especially, for us, we work with so many startup companies and with brand proposals, a lot of them don't have brand assets in terms of photography at all to start with. So using generative AI in Photoshop is so powerful because we can create the way we intend an image to be created for that brand that doesn't even have any assets. It's really powerful.
Yeah. Oh, again, it's such a strong tool. Yesterday, I found the perfect girl for an ad that we needed, and I was like, she's perfect, but I hate what she's wearing. And I couldn't get over this. And I mean, and I was like, you know what? This could take me like an afternoon to Photoshop, find the right outfit, put it, transfer her over positions. I was like, wait a minute. Got into Photoshop beta, went into generative. I changed that sweater, into a cool hit t-shirt. I gave her jewelry. I pumped up, threw on some glasses. It was just amazing. And again, it literally took me about 20 minutes. So again, we're talking about time savings on this alone. But again, as a designer, I still needed that vision, that foresight, of something to try to achieve.
An idea.
Right. And I needed that idea. Right. Now, again, that's just using obviously AI within the tools that we use every day. I still use Midjourney. I play around with it. I think that's more just personally, just so I can keep up with it. And chat, let me tell you, chat's like become my best friend. I mean, I it's like Alaskan advice. I'll do searches. I've given up on Google on searches because you type something into Google and you can't get a straight answer anymore. You get 2 pages of ads, plus you get, you have to source everything, what's right, what's not. Like, Google's just become such a mess. It's just, in general, right now, AI has made me much more efficient. And I can get so much more done in a workday now and be so much more productive. It's kind of like, I hate the fact that this is kind of at the tail end. I wish I had this at the beginning of my career, right? As opposed to after 20 years of doing this. So,
it is so powerful. Even when I'm struggling to find the right brand words, give me brand words that mean something other than bold. Instead of using bold. And it's great. Like, sometimes I know what I want to say, but I'm not a wordsmith. I'm not the best with my words, as we've seen and heard. So I just need a little bit of like help in terms of that kind of thing. And ChatGPT is amazing.
It is. It's really good for that. I mean, I feel bad that I'm brainstorming with my team as much. They're so damn busy. They don't want me bothering them during the day. But now I don't even need to. I've got chat.
That's right.
Exactly. He's gone. He's out of the picture.
I'm done. AI's first casualty, me.
Yeah.
No, I still need you for the podcast. You're still around, buddy. Oh my God, that's horrible. I feel so bad.
Sean's gone.
Oh yeah.
Goodbye, Sean.
Okay. So give us 1 or 2 bad customer stories.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I've got some funny ones. This one was kind of serious, and I had this client and we were working with them, and my team was involved, and we pitched this creative direction. They loved it. We did the whole brand proposal for them. We sent it through to them. They were like, wow, it's beautiful, but it's not what we had in mind. And I was like, shit, the classic, So we actually went back and developed a new creative direction for them, and we sent it through to them and confirmed, is this correct? Is this what you're feeling? They were like, yep. So we went away and developed a whole new brand proposal. And keep in mind, like, this was within all the original budget. This was not like, this was one brand proposal we were supposed to send. I sometimes still do this. I'm like, I just want to make the best result for them and not and it's something I should get better at, to be honest, with money. And they came back and said again, I like it, but it's not what I want. And I was like, oh God, we've done 2 full brand proposals. It wasn't even just, I don't like that color or I don't like the logo. It was everything. They were like, this is not what I want. And I didn't know. I was like, I want to fix this. So I gave them an ultimatum. I said, look, I want to make this right for you guys. I want to give you the best result possible. We could either go forward on an hourly rate so that we can actually do the work and come to the conclusion. Or I said to them, which is crazy when I think about it, I was like, I will refund you your 50% deposit. So we did probably a good 2 weeks worth of work for free. I gave them back all the money. And
wow,
good for you.
Yeah, and I shouldn't do that now because we've got a lot more expenses and overheads. But thinking about it, I'm not mad that I did it because she was like, wow, I can't believe you're doing this for me. I said to her, I just want you to have the best result possible. And if that means you going to find another designer and you can invest somewhere else, I want you to. And she was so happy with that. I was happy. We ended in a good relationship. Again, I probably wouldn't take back that 50% deposit now. I would just say, look, I'm happy to waive the rest of it, but or even, the last 20% of it. But I just want to make sure we're always trying to leave on a good term.
Yes.
So there was that one for sure. That one wasn't
That's
a funny one though.
Story learning lesson.
Totally.
No. You know
Yeah.
what? I've been tempted to hand back money and take the losses at times.
Totally.
I have. At the same time, I remember this one project, and it was just, the project was a mess, and it was, we were fumbling. This was probably around year 10 or 12, and we were fumbling and fumbling. We couldn't get it right. And then I remember it was just, and we had third time in. Right.
Yeah.
And I remember I was angry, and I even told the customer, I'm like, you know what? Why don't I just give it to you and you do it yourself? Like, forget it. I don't want this anymore. And the client, they're like, really? Is this really what you want? And it's like, they made me realize, I was like, you know what? I'm angry. Yeah. I'm too hyped up. I'm focusing on the wrong part. And I needed to do what was right at that point. And the mistakes weren't even his. It was all ours, internal, and they knew it. And I was expecting them to, understand, but it's a business. They didn't have to understand. And, in the end, I took that loss. I rebuilt it properly. Everybody was happy in the end. But, that loss was substantial, but there was something rewarding about that. Just like what you just said, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
You want what's best for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a cost to that, right? Now, the cost ultimately came to a learning experience for us, and we never let it happen again, right? Just like you probably tightened up your processes, and even now you're like, I probably wouldn't give it back. So it wasn't a loss per se. It was just a really expensive learning lesson.
Oh, it really is. And another story comes to mind, and it was with one of our favorite clients. We still work with them. We love them. And I approved a color of a print foil over a text message. We were in a rush, and I wasn't able to get to this, like the printer. It was quite far away. And I was like, I'm going to take the risk and approve the print foil color over the phone. And the client got they were presentation folders. It was about $3,000 worth. She got them, the folders. She said they look beautiful, but it's not the right color of foil. And I was like, that's fine. This is totally my mistake. I understand. Learned never to approve a print foil over the phone. I said to her, I'd be happy to just do another print run on us. And we did, and she was so stoked. But the amount of work she's given us has totally outweighed that print cost. I couldn't care less. And she's the best client, she's approves everything basically in one go. Even for her to be like, it's beautiful, it's just not the right color. What can we do here? I was like, I'll do whatever I can to fix this.
That's for you.
Yeah, so that was, another, I've learned not to approve print foiling over the phone.
Yeah.
Expensive lesson.
Fair enough.
It is, yeah. But I mean, like probably you guys as well, that the entertaining inquiries we get is certainly something that I'm like, that's funny. Or things that people ask that you're like, what goes through your head? Like someone said to me once, like, I gave them the packages, and they were like, oh, is there any way we could get 50% off? I was like,
Jeez, 50%.
Of course,
Like-
just for you.
Yeah, just for you. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Like, they're not even saying, hey, look, could we get 50% off if maybe I give you something in return? It's wild.
Wow. Well, again, give them credit for asking. Holy
I know.
cow.
I'm like, you're crazy. I could never.
Okay, on the flip side, what is the most rewarding customer story you have?
Oh, the most rewarding customer. Actually, this is hard to pinpoint because there's so many, but something the other day that happened that really brought a smile to my face. You can see my passion in these stories. It was with a client. It was with a client, and actually, while I was overseas on my 3-week holiday, we had an error, and it was quite a big error, and it came down to the fact that I was away. There was not much internet. The time differences were terrible. Like, there was a few factors that wouldn't usually be the case. So we fucked up, basically. Pink Pony made an error, and I was sincerely sorry to this client. I came back home, went and met them in person, apologized. They were like, look, we just want to learn from this and move on. And then recently it was all packaging files. They got them printed, and they said to us, or me the other day, they're like, we got some good news. And I was like, oh yeah, what is it? And she said, your files were so good, and the print and the design was so good. The printer wants to actually put it forward for an award. And I was like,
cool.
That just meant a lot to me. Although I haven't even won the award. They haven't even put it forward yet. Yeah. But the fact that they were like, the printer recognized, like, they loved the work, they loved the design, and the client was so stoked with everything. Like, that was just such a really nice moment for me. I was like, when someone, it's like validation that you're doing something right. Even though we made the screw up, even though, the clients were frustrated, which is totally, understandable. Everything came to, and it was great, and the print files are amazing, and it was just really nice. And I was like, I love that. As simple as it was, it meant a lot to me.
So in your short little, and really, because you haven't even been at this for 10 years since you finished school. So you've achieved so much, right? Like, your success, you got so much more way to go. What's your secret sauce? Like, what's it take to be successful? Is so far, and this will change. I guarantee you it's going to change in 3 years, in 10 years. And then at the end, it'll change one more time. But right now, where you are and everything you've experienced, what's it take?
Oh, good question. When I look back, I saw this question in the sheet, and I was like, oh, what could I say here? When I look back, I think a big part of it is just consistency, and also, not giving up in a way. And that comes down to just keep going. And time, in a weird sense, again, that's not giving up, just time in general. And what I mean by that is when you're at university, especially when I was at university, my work was not the best in the class. I wasn't getting straight A's. There was people in there that I was like, wow, they're amazing. How can I ever compete? I wasn't confident with my own work. But over time, you build that confidence, and you realize that I can do this and I will get better. And although you might, in that moment, you might not feel the best, give it time and keep going and be consistent, and you will get to hopefully achieve your goals and your dreams.
Interesting. You said in school, there was people that you were just like, wow, and you didn't think that you were. Do you think it's possible for someone who thinks they're just an average designer to be successful in our space?
Yes. Oh my gosh. And I've got a good point to this for sure, especially when it comes to business. If you want to start a business, whether it's freelancing or being an agency, being a designer, the best designer in the world, you could be the most amazing designer, winning awards, et cetera, but if you can't sell yourself, if you can't clearly communicate with people, if you can't have good processes, there's so many other aspects to freelance and business that makes you successful. So if you're the best designer in the world, but you have none of the other things, maybe you could be such an introvert that you can't even speak to people. I'm not saying there's an issue with that, but that will affect the way that you grow in business. You will struggle to become successful. So you can be a good designer. If you're a good designer with good communication, with good sales skills, good marketing techniques, and you'll learn that as you grow, you'll do well. Like you'll just keep going and you will do well. Like I totally believe that you don't have to be the best designer for sure.
And kind of make this work. No, good job. Yeah. But, you said time. Curious, what time do you come in the morning?
I get to the office at 7 a.m. Nice and early.
7. And that's not even
sometimes
when you
even
wake up. We won't even talk about that horrendous time. But and your average day, you're in 7. And what does that day look like?
So basically in at 7 on a Monday morning when the girls come in at 8:30, we'll have like a whip. We talk through the projects for the week, what we've got going on and updates and things. And then we kind of just get straight into it. We'll be working away. I might have some meetings, discovery sessions, or even quite cool stuff like podcasts, like with you guys. Have lunch around 12:30. It's quite flexible. Just continue working. And then I leave the girls leave at 4:30. We actually end our day at 4:30. I just like ending at 4:30. Gives everyone a bit more time to do what they want in the afternoon. I find productivity would always get quite slim between 4:30 and 5. So I was like, why don't we just go?
Leave on a high note.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll leave at 4:30 or sometimes I'll stay till about 5. And then I'll go and walk the dog and stuff and cook dinner. Then I'll probably work actually a couple of hours at night, especially at the moment, which isn't the best because I'm working quite a lot. But again, early night, we've got to get into bed at 9 so we can get up at 4:30. If that doesn't happen, we're not getting up.
No.
So with being a business owner and working a lot, like you just said, even after dinner, working nights, how do you avoid burnout? Like, how do you keep yourself on the straight and narrow? I mean, it happens in our space, right? We go insane, we burn out. Some people burn out permanently. How do you avoid this?
It's scary. It's a scary thought. Again, touch wood. I don't think I've had burnout since I've started the business. And I think it comes down to my passion for it. Like, I'm genuinely passionate about what I do. I love it. And I think if you really love it, sure, there's moments where I'm like, fuck, I'm a bit over this. I just need a weekend off. If there's problems occur or like you're struggling with designs, that can be really stressful. But I think just allowing yourself to have those times of I'm not feeling it. It's okay if I just reply to emails in the afternoon. It's okay if I just, maybe go for a half an hour walk to clear my head, and just being okay with those moments. You've got to understand where your productivity is in your day. For me, I'm so productive in the morning from 7 till around 10:30. So I want to make sure I'm working really hard in those times. Just understand that it's okay to have breaks and be okay with that, and to enjoy your weekends and, go and do things that you love, whether that's going to Tomorrowland or going and reading a book on the weekend. Just go and do things that you really love and enjoy. And that will hopefully even out the playing field, really.
Nice. So when you were Tomorrowland, did you color your hair pink and wear a crazy ass outfit? And were you
Yeah, I was all in for the outfits. Yeah, I was there for the outfits. Loved the outfits. And I think this is my creativity coming into play as well. I bought a few things and I chopped some things up and made some extra jewelry, and I love all that kind of stuff. And
it is
again,
cool,
it's just
right?
down to creativity. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's it becomes who you are, not what you do, right? And then it does everything from how you work, your viewpoints, how you dress. It's kind of we're kind of fortunate because I don't know many accountants that are like this.
No, definitely not. Yeah, you're so right. Yeah, I love just being a little bit different. I think one of our company values, I actually decided, is dare to be different, and that's going through dare to be different in every way possible, whether it's your work, your brand, or the way you dress, or your personality, and just embrace that and harness it.
So so you haven't burnt out, which is good. So good on you, and
touch
you're
wood.
still touch wood. That's touch wood. You just know the signs ahead of time.
Yeah.
If it ever comes to that. But you do get overloaded. So how do you work through it? How do you handle when you do have to? You're someone who's in demand, and not just from your clients, but then from Adobe, and then from social. You're getting people everywhere trying to capture a little bit of your time. How do you work this out?
It's difficult. And I think, again, I need to get better at this because I do work too much And I think like, I just can't sustain this. Like I probably would burn out. But obviously things lead up, it's leading up to Adobe Max. So I am working really hard on that stuff. And if I didn't have that, I might not be working as hard. But I think it comes down to like that productivity idea. If you're feeling really productive, do something really productive, like a bit more intense that you're really having to use your brain, whether it's actually designing or, writing a really full on email to someone. And then in those moments where you're feeling like, shit, I need to do something. I've got so much to do, but I'm not really feeling it. Maybe do something a little bit that's sort of less brain power, that you need less brain power for. Maybe it's replying to a couple of emails or even reconciling a few invoices. It could be anything, but just to help you feel a little bit better. I think that really helps. So, again, I lost the question.
Oh, God, I love you, girl.
What was it?
No, I mean, this is awesome. I'm the same way. We just keep going and going. Just like, geez, did I come back yet?
Yeah, I get off on a tangent.
I'm still cursed with this. It's just, what do you do? Because again, you're in demand everywhere. What do you do when you're overloaded? Yes. And how do you get past it?
Yeah, I think this comes down to saying no, which I'm not good at and I need to get better at. I feel bad when I say no, and I'm slowly getting there. As an example, like one thing that comes up a lot is university students want to interview me for whether it's an assessment or just general knowledge and advice. I love it, and I feel honored that they want to talk to me about that. But it is obviously like my time that I'm getting out of my day. So just saying no to those people is so I hate doing it, and I've had to do it a couple of times because I just can't do everybody. And it's like a stab because I'm like, these poor people are so passionate. And then here I am being like, no. I mean, obviously I don't just reply saying no. But yeah, you've got to say no to hopefully open up opportunities for more aligned yeses. So I'm getting better at that, and it's a slow progress. So
that's all
it's a challenge. Yeah, it's a real challenge. Like even this morning, I was at the gym in a meeting, and
wow,
I'm like, that shouldn't happen, and that happens quite a lot, I guess, with the time differences. But it's meetings where I don't have to say much, like I can just listen, so it's not too bad. But I shouldn't really be. This is now becoming it's seeping into all my life, which is fine. But I can't sustain it. I do need to, have boundaries.
It's fine until it's not.
Totally.
And then, hopefully, you'll figure it out at that point. So then, you can have all the rest of the processes in place. You can right now. You have the flexibility, you have the energy, you have the passion,
exactly.
Burn out and lose that passion permanently, right? I think, but no, man, you're totally doing good. With these students coming at you on a regular basis, that's both flattering and frustrating at the term, the point. But the flattering part, do you ever second guess and wonder, really? You're asking me? Do you ever struggle with imposter syndrome type thing?
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. It's not as prominent as it used to be, I think. I'm slowly really understanding that the way that I think now is something that people want. James Martin spoke about that a lot on his podcast with you guys. The way that you think is really powerful. I'm just starting to understand that. So I think I remind myself, no, I'm here for a reason, and they want to work with me for a reason. Stop, the little birdies, stop telling me that I can't do it because I can. And I think I'm just generally someone who does, I like to think, maybe I'm not, but who does go with the flow, isn't really high strung or, is quite a cruisy person. So I think that comes into play with it a little bit as well.
Fair.
But yeah, it's one of those things. Again, I lost. No, I went on a tangent.
No, but you answered it. You're good. You're good on this one.
That was good.
So, because you know what, it must. Because I'm always curious, because again, you have so many followers, you have such an engaging crew, right? I'm only recently have I started engaging on your social. I usually just I'm the reader and giggle and chuckle.
That's okay.
I have to let people know I'm alive. I'm like, yeah, good job. But no, with social media, I can't. So we have a fraction of the kind of following that you have. That brings probably a lot of pressure, but also a lot of reward No?
Definitely huge reward and pressure in a way, like, yeah, for sure. Like, I want to make sure I'm still putting stuff out there and, you know, trying to get my 3 reels out a week that I do. So that's
Only
really important.
3? It feels like more than 3, so good on you.
Really? That's
Yeah, it
good.
does,
I'm
it does,
glad.
it does.
I mean,
Yeah.
actually, in saying that, this week I hadn't actually prepared anything because last week was hectic. But again, this comes down to when that happens, that's okay. Like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh my God, and like pulling my hair out trying to get it done. I know that this Friday I can, you know, create my reels and they'll be there for next week. But it's a funny thing because I so look at what I have and I'm like, I don't know. It sounds really silly. And I think this comes down to me being a New Zealander. We have this thing called tall poppy syndrome. I don't know if you've heard of that. And it's like, in New Zealand, if you have a big head, or if you're like, oh, you know, look at me with my studio and I go to these cool conferences and speak, people will tear you down. They're like, no, you can't be up there. Like, come down. You know, like if you bring a famous person here to New Zealand, people would probably just be like, oh, hey. Like, it doesn't mean anything. It's really... Yeah. It's refreshing in a way, and I think it like keeps you humble for sure. So like when I look around at everything, I'm like, oh, this is cool. It's nothing like, I feel like I've still got such a long way to go. And again, like this comes down to comparison. I look at large agencies, I'm like, oh, we don't have this or we don't have that or you're doing that. And in that sense, I definitely feel like a bit of, you know, imposter syndrome, like, oh, why should I be here? But again, you just got to remind yourself, like, no, you worked really hard for this. This is your dream. And, you know, just remind yourself, keep positive thoughts.
Yeah. Good. Nice. I know, right? Like, it's like, and that is, in all fairness, just so you know, that is the message you're putting out there.
Yeah.
And your message is, it's fantastic. Like, you're so positive.
Thank
you're
you.
so, you know, you're like, it exudes everything that we are talking about today and the way you're acting right now. That is what your podcast is, which is brilliant, right?
Oh,
so good on
I'm
you.
so
really
glad. Yeah. Oh, that's really nice to hear.
There. Yeah,
you kind of think like, I don't know if you guys feel the same when you put things out there, you're like, A, are people actually listening and do they actually care? And B, is it like, are you who you say you are on social media? And no one, you know, it's tough to find that out internally. Yeah, but it's so nice to hear that that's actually.
Well, talking to you now, this is the exact person that I've been following for, you know, quite a while now.
Good.
So it is refreshing.
Thank
There's no act. Right. So that's good. So good on you. Do you recommend social for graphic designers, whether they're freelance? Okay. Agencies, of course, but as freelancers.
Oh my gosh, hugely. I'm like very passionate about this. Especially when people ask me, maybe it's not even designers, they could be in any business or they're starting a business. I'm like, you've got to get on social media. Again, I know it's not for everyone. So if you really don't want to do it and you hate it, I understand, like, and that's cool. You can totally be successful without it. I know a designer who I actually worked with in my first job. She has a design business and an agency, and she's very successful, but has no social media. But I strongly recommend it for a few reasons, and like one of them is basically like networking and connecting with other people and not knowing who you're going to connect with. And I think I underestimated and didn't really realize the power of that. Like with Instagram and social media, we are location neutral, I call it, where we can be anywhere but nowhere at the same time. So you can connect with people like you guys, and I have no idea that you're on the other side of the world. So that is so powerful. And with that comes opportunity with people you never expected to have opportunity with. So perfect example is being asked to go and speak at Adobe Max. Never in my million wildest dreams that I've thought I'd be asked to do that. But through social media, I was able to obviously connect with people, and that brought me the connection. So that's super powerful. And then as well, on the flip side, the other thing is the opportunity with your income. And I mean that in a way where when I started the business, I always thought it was just going to be, the dream is to just provide clients design work. But actually now with social media, I have the opportunity to diversify my income streams and have like passive income opportunities like templates, hopefully selling a course, even collabs. So the social media can bring a whole new open new doors to your business, like networking, connecting with others, and passive income opportunities as well, which is really powerful. And I mean, just in general, connecting with people all over the world who share a like-minded interest is so powerful, and it is really inspiring. And the idea that, you know, people send me messages and say, I love what you do, you inspire me so much. Like, it doesn't really register in a way, because I'm just like, oh, you know, I'm just doing me and I'm just enjoying what I love. But it's so nice to hear that, and it's awesome to be able to inspire people. I love it. Yeah,
that's cool. So if you had to give advice on where they should start, so let's pretend that, you know, let's take you backwards, right, like 4 or 5 years ago, and you're starting all the way over, completely all the way over. So, you know, day one, you finished school, or you just left your job and you're starting freelance. Where should somebody start online in social?
Ooh,
if you had to do it over, how would you do it? And again, there's no right or wrong answer here. This is based on what you know now. How would you start over?
I would just start, and I would just start on either Instagram or TikTok. Again, like, if you were someone really corporate and wanted to get those corporate clients, I would say go to LinkedIn. But Instagram and TikTok, and again, if you could choose one, it's probably hard now, because if I could choose one now, it'd probably be TikTok, because the reach on it is so massive.
Okay.
But then Instagram actually gets me better leads than TikTok. So, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is just starting. And I know that's such a vague thing to say, but like people, you know, obsess and worry so much about, oh, well, will people think of my work? Or what if my feed doesn't look good? And like, trust me when I say you'll just figure that out. Just start. And the perfect way to actually start is setting yourself like a 100-day design challenge. Maybe that's a bit much. You could just do 5 days and just post something for 5 days and see how you feel after that. Because that's the hardest part, is just getting going, and like
just getting going.
But yeah, like breaking that barrier and that boundary of, will people care about my work, or what will they think of my work? What if they don't like what they see? And that's something that you're going to get regardless. You know, the bigger you grow, the more you're going to get of that. So you just have to take it on. And I always just say it's good for the engagement. So
yeah, it's good for the engagement. It's good for some sort of credibility.
Exactly.
Well, obviously it has been for you though, because not only have you gotten work and you know, like your own brand going, but like one of the biggest brands in the world has now asked you to speak there, not once, but freaking, this is now the second year, is it not?
I'm so excited.
Like,
it is.
Who the hell? Nice. How is this even a thing? Like, good on you. I think, like, all of a sudden you elevated and now you're like my idol. Like, wow.
No, honestly, it blows my mind.
So talk about this experience. So again, Adobe this year, this is second year coming back, right?
Second
year. Talk
year.
about the road to getting there, what last year was like, and what you think is coming up this year.
Oh, I'm so excited for it this year. And I think I'm even more excited because I've been now and I know what to expect. But it was certainly something that, like, you know, during university, you'd see it online, or, you know, throughout your career, you're like, oh, that's cool. It would be even cool to go and listen to these speakers, but never would I have ever thought that they would reach out and ask me to be a speaker. And I remember the day that I got the email last year, I was so emotional. I just was I cried so much because I was like, I never thought this would happen. And I called my friends and they were like, did something happen? I was like, no, it's good tears.
It's all good tears.
Yeah. And I think, like, being all the way from New Zealand, like, it's, you know, I love America. So having the chance to go back, having the chance to, like, represent New Zealand, having the chance to speak at Adobe, like, for Adobe, it was just wild. And then even seeing other speakers that were there, I was like, wow, I'm even up with them. Like, and again, this tall poppy syndrome we spoke about, I was like, do I even deserve to be there? But I was like, no, they chose me for a reason. I do deserve to be there.
Yes, you do.
So it was really exciting. So last year was really full on because I'd never done public speaking before. And I was a dancer for so many years. I did hip hop, so I loved being on stage, and I taught dance, so I was quite comfortable with being up there. That didn't scare me one bit. I've never really spoken properly on the stage. Right. I was like, that's going to be a new experience. But I knew I wanted to make, like, an awesome speech. And Then they asked me to do another one. So I did 2 last year. I did 2 sessions.
Wow.
Wait, what were the topics
Yeah.
of both?
Last year was building an international brand. And then the second was actually how you then take your brand, your international brand, and roll out business processes basically using InDesign. So my dad has been very much a really amazing support network for me through both Adobe Maxes. He's done a lot of public speaking, big speeches and things. So I'm so lucky to have him as basically a coach.
Very cool.
And we really nutted out like a structure. So now I have this certain structure that I follow with every public speaking opportunity or presentation I do. And it's a really solid structure. I feel really confident in it. I'm like, this is damn good. Obviously the content comes around it, but it was building that structure was actually quite challenging. And we spent so many hours building that out, fleshing it out. And 45 minutes times 2 is a long time to speak.
It is.
That's a lot of content. Yeah. And I completely underestimated how much time and content was going to be. Like, I think each speech was about 17 pages long. So I was like, I'm going to learn these off by heart. No way. I did not learn them off by heart. It was a challenge. And I actually had cue cards last year to help me because I didn't know how it was going to go.
Is that like frowned upon?
Well, it was fine. But then someone left a comment and they were like, she used cue cards. Like, why did she use cue cards? I was like, do you want me to go up
here
there
on stage and do it yourself, for God's sake?
Do you want me to go up there and completely fuck up? No.
Yeah.
Would you rather me have cue cards? Yes.
Haters gonna hate.
They were just, exactly, they were just like a confidence thing. I just wanted them there for my own confidence.
Yes.
But yeah, building out the speeches was like, we worked really hard on the topics and the presentation and stuff, and I was so happy with how it went. So this year it's been a little bit easier because I've got my base structure for how things run. And this year they asked me to do 2 as well, so I was really excited.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Which
so-
obviously means you did a good enough job
Yeah.
that A, they've asked you to come back, and
to
B,
do it again.
not just for 1, but for 2.
Yeah.
So, dude,
Yeah,
get twice the size cue cards this time around.
I know.
And on the back of them, you hold them up and have a letter, so it smells like,
Oh my
"Fuck
God,
you two
yes."
haters.
It's so great. I need that. Definitely need that. So no, I can't wait. Like I structure them in a certain way because they asked me to do 2. I thought, yes, I could just do 2 topics, sure. But like, what if these 2 topics relate to each other, but also could be watched? If you go to one, you could be fine. If you go to both, you'll get even more out of it. So this year I'm talking all about actually creating a brand identity. So like, tips and tricks for logos, color palettes, etc.
So
and
cool.
then and then the other one is all about how you roll out that brand identity. So they stand alone, but going to both, you'll really get a lot out of them.
Then you'll get that whole story. Good for you.
Yeah, so I'm so excited.
I wish I was going. I wish we were
Yeah.
going.
I was going to say, have you guys been? Are you going?
No. This year we went to, this year's our first year going to a conference in a long time. And we went to the Into the Woods.
Oh, how
which
was
was over in
it?
Portland. Oh, dude, it didn't feel like a conference at all, right?
Amazing.
Like everybody was so chilled because, unlike big places like, in California, New York, people come to these events and then they separate and go off in little groups here and there. So the Into the Woods conference that Lincoln held, Lincoln Design Company, smaller conference, right? There was only about 200 and plus, people. It was on the grounds. It was so far away from
That's
everything
cool.
else that you weren't allowed to leave.
Yeah, you couldn't get
So
it, yeah.
you
Oh,
were
wow.
forced basically to hang out with everybody there during dinner, during game time, during the events. So, you could show up as a single person. You left with just tons of friends. And I mean, I can't, we just met awesome people.
Yeah.
I just, I missed that
that's so
conference.
cool.
So we will be there in the next one. But, Adobe is going to be another one that we will attend. Creative South is another one.
Yeah.
Crop is another one. We'll do our tour, of course. I think next year will be a lot busier.
amazing.
But not yet. Not Adobe. That's such a big conference, right?
Yeah.
I feel like I'd get lost. But
They-
had I
they
known
put
that you would have
so
been
much-
there,
Yeah.
and James, and everybody else.
Come.
Aaron.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm really excited, and like just being there with people who again like-minded, really, infectious energy. Everyone's creative. No one's like, it's not like everyone's judgy and like, you know, and their little cliques and things, and everyone's open-minded, and you want to wear crazy pants, wear crazy pants. You want to have pink hair, have pink hair. Like it's fun. Yeah, it's really fun. So I'm super excited. And I think going back, you know, I've got stickers and I'm going to give out and like,
Nice.
you know, I'm all set to go.
Awesome.
that's
So
great.
when is Adobe? When is Adobe Max?
It's actually about a month away from now. I think it's literally the 10th to the 13th or something like that of October. So I've got a month.
So by the time people are hearing
practicing.
this, it will be the next week.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
exciting.
Yes. We
So
are
come
going to
to
make
Adobe
this
Max.
happen, right? So it is.
Yeah.
Everybody, come to Adobe Max.
Yes.
Are the speeches available afterwards where they can watch you and hear you speak?
So they've got a portion of sessions online virtually that are like pre-recorded. But this year I actually didn't get selected for one of those, which is totally cool. But the way that they do them, like some of them are recorded there and uploaded, but some of them aren't. So hopefully mine's recorded and it will go up online so people can watch it, because that would be amazing. Yeah, that'd be great.
They will afterwards. Don't worry. They're going to love it so much. They're
Hopefully.
going to be like, we got to put this one online. Right?
Yeah, fingers crossed.
So, like, your business is going to start soon. I'm sure we could talk your whole morning away. And I mean,
so
again, I
much.
appreciate, because you said this is your
This is your good time. Yeah.
this is your circadian rhythm where you have your most productive time, and you're giving us 2 hours of that. So I appreciate that.
Feel free to
no.
bill us.
No, dude,
Not
honestly,
me.
I can't even believe we've been speaking for 2 hours. It feels like half an hour.
We can keep going.
I
We can keep
know,
going.
I
I
know.
could
that's-
totally keep going.
I know, but I want to be respectful. And your poor employees are probably at a coffee shop
there's-
They're
waiting
literally
for
out
you.
there. I said to them, I was like, guys, random question, favor, but just go sit at the coffee shop, have a coffee for half an hour. I'm sure I was like, they'll be fine with that.
It'll be fine. Yeah.
Well, look, we finish off the show with, now, if you would actually watch our episodes to the end of the podcast, you would know.
I would know.
But we finish off with a 2-minute lightning round questions.
Ooh, okay.
And these
I'm ready.
questions are for you. These are tailored to you. For
I'm
some
excited.
some of them not, right? And we'll see what you're really all about. Okay. So you told us all this story. Now you got to answer these really difficult questions. Okay, and make some hard choices. Okay, you've only got 2 minutes, so pressure's on.
Okay.
Are you
Ooh,
up for the
okay.
challenge?
I'm ready. Yeah, hell yeah. Let's go.
John, are you ready, sir?
I am ready. My
You're
fingers on the
ready?
button.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Mac or PC?
Mac, of course.
Favorite music?
Oh, pop.
Pop, EDM, Tomorrowland.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
whatever.
Tomorrowland.
Color. Favorite color?
Pink.
Pink.
Good.
Yes.
But she doesn't know the Pantone, for the record. Favorite cartoon?
Oh, I'm going to say Card Captors. It was a random Chinese or Japanese anime. When I was
Very
a kid, I
cool.
loved it. I loved it.
Anime. That's very cool. Looking good on you. Favorite collectible?
Oh, my cowboy sparkly boot. That's because I'm looking at it.
Yes.
Pink and sparkles. Favorite
Oh,
superhero?
Pedro the pink pony. Sorry.
Pedro the Pink.
Favorite superhero, Spider-Man, for sure. Love
Very
Spider-Man.
cool. Very cool.
He's great.
Who is Marty McFly?
Oh, God, I have no idea.
Wow.
Back to the Future. Oh,
Ah,
okay.
oh, funny.
Coffee or tea?
I did not know that. Oh, coffee, for sure. Coffee. Love coffee.
Puppies or kittens?
Oh, I have both. Can I say both?
Right. Only on this one. Pirates or ninjas?
Pirates, for sure.
Oh.
Who makes better wine, New Zealand or California?
Oh, New Zealand all the way.
Make sure you're careful when you're at Adobe. Just saying. Favorite graphic designer, present or past?
Oh, I'm going to say Abby Connick. Love her.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
Yeah, she's amazing. You should get her on the podcast. Sorry.
All right. Ooh. Okay. Well, if you could hook up, maybe
Please
we could
recommend
change this. Serif or non-serif?
Non-serif, I would go. Sans
What's your
serif.
favorite font right now?
Oh, General Sans. It's a sans serif. I love it. General Sans. It's so nice. It just
All right.
speaks to me.
And just for the record, the Angry Designer font is Poppins, which you are so over. Just for the record.
I know. Shit.
Over
Shit.
Poppins?
Look at Angry Sans. Not Angry Sans. Now I'm getting them all mixed up. General Sans.
General
All right,
Sands.
fine. Illustrator, Photoshop.
Illustrator, for sure.
Nice.
Magazine
Easy.
or tablet?
Do you mean like a print magazine?
Yeah, or digital tablet.
Oh, tablet. I reckon.
Oh,
True or false? Newsprint is dead.
It's like dying. It's like at the hospital about to go.
Right now, waiting for resuscitations.
that's the best answer to that ever. Yes.
Did you ever dress up as Xena, the warrior princess?
I can happily say no, I actually haven't.
Oh,
No.
all right.
I should have.
Do you secretly wish you were her?
Oh yeah, she's great.
Okay.
Love her.
She's pretty strong, pretty
Yeah,
cool.
She's
All right.
badass.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Coffee. That was the first thing that came to mind.
Really? It's not even
I
that guilty.
don't know what would be my guilty pleasure. Oh God. Chocolate. Do you mean like food?
Okay, well, that works.
Sure.
I'll go with
Food
chocolate.
works.
Whatever.
Yep.
Superpower of choice.
I love Spider-Man, so I reckon just whatever he can do. He can
Okay, fair
climb walls
enough.
and shit. Yeah, that'll be it. Yeah.
Who would win in a fight? Russell Crowe, Carl Urban, or Anthony Starr?
Oh my God, I'm gonna say Russell Crowe.
So with that being said, with these three crazy super macho guys, are all men in New Zealand as badass as those three?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, all right.
Actually,
Nah.
answer is false. Keith
But-
Urban,
Keith Urban.
not so badass.
That guy's a tall poppy anyway, I think.
Yeah, he is. He needs to.
He needs to be cut
Come
down.
down.
He needs to be cut down.
Exactly.
Best video game ever?
Oh my gosh, there was one that I played as a kid with my brother called Keen 4. If this hits a target market, Keen 4 was so cool. But actually, Zoo Tycoon, I was a big fan. Loved
Zoo
it.
Tycoon. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Loved it, like making all the cages and the animals, and you could do this like certain hotkey, and it brought up a unicorn, and I was like, woo! I was all excited about that.
And last but not least, one thing that always makes you angry.
Fast drivers. I don't like fast drivers.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh,
Just take it easy.
Yeah, this
I'm
guy.
not slow, but but don't drive fast. It's bad
Right.
for the safety of people. The way I said that was so awkward.
Oh my god, dude, this was awesome.
Yeah,
this was such a fun.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, it was so fun. I've loved chatting to you guys. It's been
This
great.
was just like constantly, just go. I mean, this is amazing. Your career has been amazing to follow so far, and honestly, it's just started. You're totally on the right
thank
path.
you.
You so are on the right path, and I'm excited for what the future brings for you. And I will be watching and bugging, and maybe next year we'll do another one of these, and we can kind of do an update and see how crazy your life has gotten. This is going to be fun.
Oh, I'm so excited. No, thank you guys so much. And thanks for having me on the podcast. It's been such a pleasure and such an honor. Such an honor.
As an added footnote, I love your doodles.
Thank
Your
you.
doodling is the best.
See, you need to keep up with that.
I know.
I should. I should. And like, it's one of those things, like, because I'm in the business that I don't do as much. And I always thought
Yeah.
I was never the best drawer, like illustrator, like actually pen to paper. But when I look back, I'm like, I'm actually all right. So
Yeah.
not too bad.
Yeah, no, the doodles are great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, it's good to hear. Oh, thank you. No, it's been such a pleasure.
No. Thank you, honestly. And I know, and this means a lot because I know this is your productive time. So I hope you've
Yes,
started
thank
your
you.
day off.
Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
And
Of course you have
you
all the
know,
energy.
because we're in the future, I'm going to say good luck next week, right? To
Oh,
Adobe
yes,
Max,
thank you.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
'Cause people are
Oh
gonna
my
be like,
God,
"Holy
yeah.
crap."
Thank you.
Man,
Thank
you're
you.
just gonna kill it, okay? and hold up those cue cards and give secret messages and
Screw
really
the
just
haters.
own
Yeah.
that shit.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No, thank you guys so much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
All right. Well,
All right.
again, I think otherwise,
Yeah.
I hope everybody enjoyed this amazing interview with our brand new friend. Give us a like, pass us, share us around to everybody that you love or hate. We will find this, obviously on all your favorite podcast channels, but you're also going to be able to find, well, obviously on YouTube. So why am I even telling people this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? Because again, in order to watch this is what they're doing.
what you'll
So
see, yeah.
let's just scrap that and finish off with our, basic My name's Massimo.
My name is Sean.
And you are?
Oh, Kristy, me?
There you go.
I thought you were like talking to the listeners.
Talking to
I'm
people.
Kristy. Sorry, I'm Kristy.
All right, everybody.
That's awesome.
Stay creative.
And stay angry.
Peace out.
Bye.
See you.